Revealed, how a millionaire's hidden fatherhood changed everything on Christmas Day. Jason sat at his kitchen table, the weight of the world draped heavily on his shoulders. It was only days before Christmas, and while the streets outside sparkled with festive lights, his heart felt dim. His 7-year-old daughter, Lily, was busy scribbling her wish list, completely unaware of the struggles that clawed at their daily life. All he wanted was a better life for her, a life filled with love, laughter, and stability. But his teacher's salary barely covered the bills, let alone the holiday magic he wished to bring into their home. The past haunted him, especially during this season that was supposed to be filled with hope and joy. As he rummaged through a dusty box in the attic, something unusual caught his eye. It was a crumpled letter penned by his mother long ago. Curiosity pulled him in, and he carefully began to read. His heart raced as the shocking truth unfolded before him. His estranged father was a millionaire who had watched from a distance, and he wanted to reconnect. An inheritance was waiting for Jason, a lifeline to ease their financial woes. His mind spun like a top, emotions colliding like a winter storm. Could it be true? The man who abandoned him as a child suddenly wanted to be a part of his life. Lily had always been his North Star, and each time he saw her innocent smile, a burning sense of longing wrapped around his heart. Could he really face a man who left him in the shadows of neglect? The hustle and bustle of the nearby diner echoed in his ears, where neighbors shared tales of their struggles and small victories. Mrs. Thompson's story of how her father's sacrifices shaped her life stirred something deep inside him. Jason nodded along, feeling a kinship in their shared experiences of loss and resilience. Their collective stories made him realize just how rich they were in ways that money couldn't measure. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With Christmas Eve drawing closer, Jason battled waves of nostalgia and resentment. His world collapsed into a single moment: the image of his father, the man who had chosen wealth over family, coming to his doorstep that day. As he looked at the flickering lights of their small town, he pondered the cost of moving forward. Would accepting his father's appeal mean capitulating to the hurt of the past? The shadows of betrayal loomed large, but so did the shining possibility of a better life for Lily. Christmas morning would arrive soon, but could Jason really open his heart to the man who had shattered it? As snow began to blanket the grounds outside, a sudden knock echoed through his home, reverberating into the deepest parts of his soul. His own pulse raced in rhythm with the intensifying storm, as he inhaled deeply, preparing for a confrontation that could change everything. Would he find healing, or would scars remain? Jason hesitated at the door, his breath hitching in his throat. The knock had been firm yet somehow tentative, like the hand of fate poised to rewrite his history. With one final deep breath, he grasped the cold doorknob and twisted it open. Standing before him was a man who looked startlingly familiar yet strange, a mix of arrogance and humility that Jason couldn't quite figure out. His father's face bore the weight of age and regret, framed by gray-streaked hair. The older man's eyes were bright but filled with an unmistakable vulnerability, echoing the very emotions Jason had grappled with all these years. "Jason," the man began, voice trembling like a leaf caught in the wind. "I didn't expect you to answer. Can we talk?" The words hung between them, thick with unspoken hurt and a lifetime of distance. Jason looked behind him, catching a glimpse of Lily, still lost in her world of glittery paper and cheerful wishes. He wanted to run, to shut the door and protect her from the ghost of a father who had abandoned him. But there was something different about this moment, something scraping away at the anger he had held tightly for so long. "Talk," Jason echoed, anger flaring in his chest. "What do you want to talk about? All those years you weren't here. All the birthdays missed. The Christmases spent alone. His voice cracked, infused with the weight of a decade's worth of pain. I know I have no right to ask for anything, his father replied, stepping closer. But I want to make this right. I want to be a part of your life and Lily's. Jason could only shake his head. The words tasted bitter, colliding with the memories of him sitting alone under the Christmas tree, the empty space where a father should have been marked by a deep, aching void. Yet, the flickering lights around him seemed to pulse in rhythm, almost urging him to listen. Why now? Jason finally asked, his voice low. Why not before? Was I just too much of a burden? His father's face darkened, pain etching deeper lines around his eyes. I was trapped in my own world chasing dreams and money. It took losing everything to realize what I'd thrown away. I was afraid you would hate me. Hate you? Jason laughed harshly, the sound cold. You don't even know the depth of hate. You left, and I was just supposed to pretend that was okay. What I did was unforgivable. But I can't go on living like this. I'm sorry, Jason. I truly am. I just want a chance. Caught in a maelstrom of emotions, Jason felt the wall he built up around his heart beginning to crack. Could he really consider this man's offer? Could he give them a second chance? He glanced at Lily, her laughter drifting softly through the house, glimmering with hope and innocence. I can't promise you anything, Jason finally said, his voice almost a whisper. But if you're serious, proving that you've changed won't be easy. His father nodded, a flicker of hope igniting in his eyes. I'll do whatever it takes. As he closed the door and turned back to the warmth of family, uncertainty nipped at his heels. Just how far would he go to embrace forgiveness? Could a holiday meant for joy truly become a path of healing? That frantic knock at the door had only begun to stir the quagmire of Jason's life. The real question was awaiting him: could he risk it all for love, even if it meant confronting the past? Jason stepped back into the cozy living room, the warmth of the space contrasting sharply with the chill that lingered in his bones. The twinkling lights on the tree flickered as if encouraging him to take another leap into the unknown, but the fatigue of anger weighed him down like a stone. Lily's laughter rang out, a vivid reminder of the innocence that still existed, untouched by the pain that had marked his own childhood. Daddy, look! She called, brandishing a bright blue ornament as if it were a trophy. Can we hang this one next? Of course, Munchkin, he replied, forcing a smile, his mind still flicking back to his father's face. The way that man's eyes had looked, like he was fighting to find belonging after so long. Jason hated the idea that he could feel a thread of sympathy tugging at him. Lily's enthusiasm brightened the atmosphere as they decorated the tree together. Each ornament brought a fresh wave of giggles and stories. A red candy cane reminded her of last year's adventures, and the gold star at the top held a promise of wishes yet to come. But beneath the joy, Jason felt the simmering uncertainty rise within him, a small storm brewing with every bright laugh that rang out. What are you thinking about, Daddy? Lily asked suddenly, her small face tilted up to look at him. Just about being thankful, he said, ruffling her hair. It was true, he was thankful for the little girl standing in front of him, but his heart was consumed by the tension of what lay ahead. Lily giggled and bounced on her toes. I love that we are getting ready for Christmas. It's my favorite time of year. Jason smiled weakly. Yeah, me too. But his heart pulsed with dread as he thought of his father lingering at the edge of it all. What kind of Christmas would this be? Suddenly, the doorbell rang again, slicing through the comfort. Panic surged within Jason. Was it his father again? Could he truly handle this? Lily dashed to the door, excitement radiating from her little frame. I'll get it, Daddy. She didn't wait for his approval, swinging the door open. Jason caught up just in time to see his father's silhouette appear in the doorway. The tension that had filled Jason's chest shattered into sharp pieces, as if all the air had been sucked from the room. Hey, his father said awkwardly, looking past Lily and catching Jason's gaze. I brought something. The older man stepped in, holding a small wrapped box clutched tightly in his hands. The sight sent a jolt of confusion through Jason. Was this a peace offering? An attempt to bridge the chasm between them? What is that? Jason asked, his voice steady, trying to mask the turmoil inside. Lily's eyes lit up, curiosity bubbling over. Open it. Open it. As his father extended the box toward them, Jason felt a tempest rising within. Could a simple gift really mend what was broken? Or was it merely another symbol of abandonment wrapped in deceptive paper? Lily, maybe we should know. I want to see. She chirped, her small hands reaching for the box. Jason's heart raced. Was this a moment he could embrace, or would it only shove him deeper into despair? The air thickened around them as he wrestled with his thoughts. What awaited them beneath that wrapping paper? Could this fragile moment spark the beginning of something new, or was it destined to unravel further? As he steadied his breath, Jason realized one thing: this Christmas held the weight of 1,000 choices. The next step could lead to healing or heartbreak. Would he dare to unwrap it? Lily's fingers danced over the wrapped gift, her excitement infectious. Jason stood frozen, caught between the little girl's eager innocence and the heavy past etched in his mind. The festive lights glimmered around them, but the shadows of longing and resentment loomed larger than the radiant holiday spirit. Come on, Daddy. It's Christmas. She squealed, pulling at the edges of the colorful paper. Her small hands tore away the wrapping with the vivacity and fervor that only a child could possess. With each rip of the paper, Jason's heart thumped louder in his chest. What was inside? Would it be something heartfelt or another reminder of the gulf that had existed for years between him and his father? Just a second, Lily, he said, his voice unsteady as he reached out, holding the box in trembling hands. He stole a glance at his father, whose nervousness mirrored his own. For a moment, time paused, and Jason felt the weight of choices surge within him, both past and present. Just open it. She begged again, her eyes wide with anticipation, her voice breaking the suffocating silence. With a deep breath, Jason lowered the box and felt the textured edges against his fingertips. He hesitated, glancing at his father again, searching for answers in the man who had abandoned him. The air was thick with tension. Jason realized this moment meant more than they could imagine. It was a chance, perhaps the only chance, to mend a bridge that had been weathered by time and pain. Okay, he finally said, knowing this was a chance for both of them to step into the light, for Lily, for himself, and, maybe, for his father. He gently pried open the lid. Inside lay an intricately carved wooden puzzle box, glistening with a warm polish. It was beautiful, a masterpiece of craftsmanship. Oh wow! Look at this, Daddy! Lily exclaimed, her voice a melody of pure joy. What is it for? Jason asked, his curiosity piqued. It's a memory box, his father said, his voice low and shaky. It's meant for you to fill with stories. Jason could almost feel warmth pooling in his chest. A memory box. Could this be his father's way of wanting to share, to finally be part of his life in a meaningful way? What kind of stories? Jason dared to ask, his defenses only half dismantled. Moments you want to keep, good ones. Just like the ones I missed with you, his father replied, swallowing hard. The room felt alive with tension, every heartbeat echoing the gravity of his father's words. Jason searched his father's eyes, searching for sincerity there. I don't understand, Jason breathed. The whirlwind of emotions crashed against him, both unyielding and soft. Please, his father said, stepping forward. I want a chance to make things right. If you'll let me. The world outside their cozy bubble faded away. He could hear the faint jingle of bells and the soft hum of holiday music, but it all felt distant. Would he allow this fragile offer to take root, or was it too late to wish for healing? Lily's bright eyes flickered between them, the weight of their shared moment not lost on her young heart. Can we fill the box together? She asked, her voice breaking the tension like a gentle breeze. Jason smiled at her innocence, but something within him ached. Maybe, Jason whispered, the possibility of connection illuminating a flicker of hope inside. As the glimmer of the Christmas lights illuminated the room, Jason's heart slowly began to open. But a lingering question nestled deep within: could he truly forgive, and would his father's intentions lead to growth or further heartache? In that moment, Jason held both the box and the future in his hands, waiting to see what would unfold. Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement as she gazed at the memory box. The shadows of uncertainty still loomed over Jason, but as the corners of her mouth curved into a grin, something stirred deep within him. "Let us fill it, Daddy," she urged, pulling at his sleeve eagerly. Her enthusiasm felt like a lifeline, yanking him from the whirlpool of his doubts. "Okay," he said, his voice steadier now, though his heart raced. He turned to his father, his expression a blend of curiosity and vulnerability. "What memories did you have in mind?" His father hesitated, the gravity of the moment striking him. "The first time you rode your bike without training wheels," he suggested, a glimmer of nostalgia in his eyes. "You were so determined. I should have been there to cheer for you." Jason's throat tightened at the memory. The thrill of that day, the rush of freedom, was a distant echo now, cloaked under layers of resentment. "I remember that day, but I didn't know you wanted to be there," he replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "I wanted to be," his father admitted, the weight of regret evident in his eyes. "I messed up, Jason. I can't change the past, but I want to be part of your future." Lily shifted her weight impatiently, her excitement palpable. "Can we write it down?" she asked, her tiny hands reaching for a notepad nearby. "I'll help." Jason watched her, torn between the little girl's innocent joy and the mingled emotions that collided within him. Grabbing a pen, he scribbled down, "First bike ride without training wheels." Lily beamed, her eyes dancing as she leaned over to read what he had written. "See, Daddy," she chirped. "This is fun." As he glanced at his father, Jason found himself softening, perhaps he had been too harsh. "Okay, what about another memory?" he asked, wanting to balance the scale, open the door a little wider. His father's expression brightened. "Remember the camping trip when you caught that huge fish?" "Yes." Jason chuckled, the laughter bubbling to the surface as he wiped away a tear. "I've never been so proud." "Me neither," his father replied, his voice a mixture of longing and joy. The tension that had gripped Jason slowly began to thaw, each story shared unearthing fragments of hope. They jotted down memories, glancing at each other between sentences, their breaths sinking in a rhythm that felt oddly comfortable. Lily leaned back, admiring their shared creation with wide eyes. "This is the best box ever. Let us keep adding stories." Jason turned to his father. There was something real in the man's gaze now, something he hadn't seen before, a willingness to change, to finally create a future that mattered. Maybe it wasn't too late. Maybe healing could start right here, right now. "I'd like that," Jason said softly, a flicker of hope igniting within him. "Let us fill this box as a family." Just then, a sudden knock echoed from the front door, slicing through the gentle camaraderie that had begun to knit them together. Jason glanced toward the sound, his pulse quickening with a mix of anxiety and curiosity. Lily jumped up, her eyes alive with anticipation. "It's probably Santa," she squealed, racing toward the door. Jason and his father exchanged questioning glances. Whatever awaited them beyond those walls felt monumental, like it could turn their moment of light back into shadow, or perhaps forge an even brighter path forward. With a hesitant breath, Jason prepared himself to face whatever revelation awaited on the other side. Could this truly be a new beginning, or would the past come crashing back in? He felt the uncertainty churn within him, the box of memories still warm in his hands as he stepped toward the door. Jason reached for the doorknob, feeling its cold metal seep into his skin. His heart raced like a roller coaster at the prospect of what lay beyond. Lily's uncontainable enthusiasm drowned out the heaviness in the air, yet he couldn't shake the feeling of dread. What if this was a moment that would unravel the fragile bond they were starting to forge? Taking a deep breath, he pulled the door open. The world outside was blanketed in the soft glow of holiday lights. Twinkling ornaments hung from every tree, and decorations spilled across neighbors' yards like a parade. But standing on their porch was a figure that froze the moment in time. "Well, well, if it isn't my favorite son and my precious granddaughter," the man boomed with a voice that filled the space. It was Mark, Jason's estranged older brother. The relief that swept over Lily's face crumbled into confusion as the weight of the uninvited surprise settled in. "Uncle Mark!" she squealed, rushing into his embrace. Jason stood stunned, caught between joy and disbelief. When had his brother come back? Hadn't it been years since their last, explosive confrontation over family matters? Why now, at Christmas, this sensitive time for memories and rekindling? "What are you doing here?" Jason managed to ask, his voice swallowing trepidation. Mark stepped inside, nonchalantly tossing his jacket on a nearby chair. "I needed to see you guys. I've been thinking a lot. Life's too short, right? And it's Christmas." He chuckled, that familiar twinkle in his eye still intact. It reminded Jason of their childhood, when they shared dreams under blankets and swapped secrets late at night. But beneath Mark's jovial facade, Jason noticed cracks and urgency that hinted at deeper, darker waters. "This is a surprise, all right." "A big one," Jason replied, crossing his arms defensively. Lily, oblivious, was already tugging at Mark's arm to show him the memory box. "Look at what we're making, Uncle Mark. We're filling it with memories." As she excitedly chattered, Jason's gaze remained glued to his brother. Mark's expression shifted. A flicker of regret danced there, almost imperceptibly. "I heard you guys are working on some family stuff. I thought it would be nice to join," he offered, his tone uncharacteristically subdued. Jason's heart raced anew. This was not what he had expected today. "You want to join our memories?" he asked, skepticism mingling with lingering hope. They hadn't had a conversation about their fractured family bond in ages. "Yeah, I have stories too," Mark said softly, his bravado slipping away as Lily looked up, eyes bright. "I think you'd like to hear them." Something relentless surged within Jason. Could this be another chance? The urge to confront his brother over lost years lingered just below the surface. Yet at the same time, there was something sweet about the little girl watching them, her innocence wrapped in the promise of building a future together. Just then, the memory box trembled between them, the stories held inside bursting with possibility. Could this box truly be a bridge to healing? Lily interjected, "Please, Daddy. Can we fill it together? Uncle Mark can share his best memory." Jason hesitated, looking up at Mark. This could unravel old wounds or begin to sew together the fabric of their family. "All right," he said slowly, heart thumping. "Let us hear one of your stories first." As Mark began to speak, his voice washed over the room with nostalgia and longing, each word hinting at the truths Jason had long buried. This was it, a moment fraught with tension yet bursting with the potential for change. But would they truly be able to rewrite their family narrative, or was this just another facade on a day that held so much promise? Little did they know, the next revelation would test their commitment to healing in unforeseen ways. Mark cleared his throat, the air thick with anticipation. "All right, let me think," he began, his voice faltering just slightly. "There was a time, long ago, the Christmas after Mom left. I remember we didn't have much, but we made do with what we had. Just a little tree, a few lights, and the smell of your favorite cookies wafting through the house." Jason felt a rush of bittersweet memories flood back. The way they had huddled together on that tattered couch, stringing popcorn for the tree while their dad worked late into the night, trying to scrape together a living. Lily's wide eyes sparkled as she listened, completely captivated. The innocence of her age painted a stark contrast to the shadows Mark's story conjured in Jason's mind. He could see the small boy he used to be fighting to get a glimpse of the world that had always felt just out of reach. "Do you remember, Jay?" Mark asked, looking directly at him now. "The night we started that snowball fight? We were outside until our fingers were frozen solid." A thin smile broke through Jason's apprehensive expression. "Yeah, and you lost. You threw that snowball right across the yard and knocked down Mrs. Harris's snowman." "Ah, come on. That was a cool snowman." Mark laughed, the tension easing, if just a little. But it wasn't long before Mark's laughter faded, replaced by a growing solemnity. "It was good times, man. But I guess I was too busy chasing dreams to cherish them." The ache of regret pounded in the air, and Jason felt the familiar weight of anger and sorrow intertwine in his chest. "You weren't there when it mattered, Mark." His words barely came out as a whisper, but they hung heavy between them, the reminder of years lost echoing in silence. Lily looked between them, brow furrowed. "But you're here now. Can't we just have fun? Please?" The innocence in her voice hit Jason hard. How could he explain all they had lost in front of her? "Hey, I'm here, aren't I?" Mark said, his expression hardening slightly in defense. But the flicker in his eyes spoke volumes about the effort he was willing to put in today. "I'm trying to make things right. There's a lot I've missed, and I realize that." Jason looked into his brother's eyes, searching for sincerity. Yet doubts clouded his heart. Could Mark genuinely be wanting to change? Or was this another fleeting moment, destined to evaporate like snowflakes on a warm day? "Every memory counts, Uncle Mark," Lily chimed in again, cheerfully directing their attention. "Let us keep making them." She rummaged through the memory box, pulling out a crumpled piece of paper. "What's this?" Jason's breath hitched as he recognized the drawing from before, a family sketch she had made with crayons, each one of them drawn in a circle holding hands. The truth struck him anew, they lacked the most necessary piece to complete it, trust. Mark stared at it, his eyes glistening. "That's beautiful, Lily. You've captured so much love in one picture." Jason shifted uncomfortably. "Love is easy to draw, but hard to create," he muttered, his heart weighing heavy with the burden of truth. "Okay, listen," Mark said, pulling out his phone, "I know it's not much, but I want to show you something." His fingers moved swiftly, and he turned the screen towards them. There, displayed in digital clarity, was a photograph. A man on a beach, arms wrapped around a boy and a girl who looked just like they could have been Jason and Mark 2 decades ago. "Dad?" Jason's voice trembled. "No," Mark's expression was pained yet resolute. "It's my family. It's time for you to see the life I made, the father I've become." The implications of Mark's revelation hung in the room, a palpable tension. Jason felt his heart drop. This was more than just a story, it was the solid truth that could fracture or unite them. "Wait, what do you mean by that? You're a dad?" As Lily peered closer with excitement, the holiday lights seemed to dim around them, amplifying the gravity of Mark's revelation. Jason's pulse raced. Everything was about to change. What had been a mundane family reunion now spiraled into something unforeseen. Would Jason be prepared to face what lay beneath the surface? Jason's heart raced, caught in a whirlwind of emotions. He studied Mark's face, looking for clues, for the cracks in his brother's hard facade that would reveal the truth. "A family?" he echoed, his voice tinged with disbelief. "Yeah," Mark said, his tone quiet but fierce, slowly gaining strength. "It's complicated, but I have a daughter. Her name is Grace." He turned his gaze to Lily, who beamed in innocent joy. "I wanted to show you love could look like this too." Lily's eyes sparkled with the mention of a sister, someone she could play with, someone she could build memories with. But Jason felt the weight of Mark's revelation pull him down. "You have a daughter? And you just tell me now?" The anger slipped out before he could catch it. "Jason, I didn't plan for any of this," Mark's voice edged on desperation. I had to figure out my life, you know. I'm not proud of it. But once I started my family, I wanted to protect them. I didn't want to drag my past into their lives. Jason shook his head, filled with frustrations that swirled like a storm. So, what? You just left us and started fresh. Without any thought about us? Mark's expression crumbled a bit. Every day feels like a new beginning. I want to make amends. I can't go back and change what happened. But I don't want my daughter to miss out on knowing her family. You really think this is enough? Jason challenged, his voice raw with pain. I don't know. Mark hesitated, he ran a hand through his hair, frustration mixing with sincerity. But I'm here now, and I want to try. Lily bounced in her seat, breaking through the thick tension. Can we meet her? Can we, please? Mark turned to her, the corners of his mouth lifting just a fraction. If you're okay with it. I'd like you to meet her. I think she would love you both. That's great. A cousin. Her enthusiasm was infectious, momentarily lifting the heaviness. But Jason felt tethered to the pain of their fractured relationship. Great? You think everything's just great? Life goes on, Mark said, his eyes piercing. This is life now. We can either move forward or stay stuck in the past. Lily looked from her uncle to her dad, caught between the tide of emotions swirling in the room. I just want us all to be happy together, she declared, her little voice fragile yet hopeful. Jason felt his resolve waver. This little girl saw possibility while he felt only darkness. It's not that simple, Lil. Suddenly, Mark leaned forward, his gaze steady on Jason. Maybe it is. The words hung heavily, a challenge. Could they really start fresh? And for Lily, could this mean a new family dynamic? As Jason wrestled with his thoughts, he was drawn back to the photograph on Mark's phone. It wasn't just a passing image, it was a window into a life that could exist, one filled with laughter, love, and the chance of healing. Could they find a way to bridge the divide? Jason's heart ached with uncertainty. Would he be able to let go of the resentment? Could he open his heart again after years of hurt? A rush of emotions fought within him. He wanted to protect Lily but also needed to protect himself. Let me think about it, he finally said, his voice low but firm. The road to forgiveness isn't a straight one, and I don't know if I'm ready. Mark nodded, understanding the weight of Jason's words. Just know, Mark said carefully, I'm here to help carry it, if you let me. The conversation paused, a quiet hung over the trio like an unwritten promise. Outside, snow began to fall gently. Should we make a snowman? Lily asked, breaking the silence. That innocent spark was a flicker of hope. Jason looked at Mark and saw the remnants of the brother he used to share a laugh with. The idea of a snowman, something so simple, could represent more. As they rose, Jason felt the first tendrils of possibility slip into his heart. Was this the beginning of something new? But just then, Mark's phone pinged with an incoming message. He glanced at it, eyes widening as he read. Jason. Mark breathed, the excitement fading from his face. You need to see this. Jason's heart dropped again. What? News awaited them now. What else lay in the shadows, waiting to come to light? Mark's hand trembled slightly as he held up his phone. The flickering light illuminated his face, revealing a mixture of confusion and dread. Jason leaned closer, mind racing with possibilities. Was it good news? Or something that would shatter the fragile peace they had started to build? What is it? Jason asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Mark turned the phone towards Jason, his thumb hovering over the screen. It's a message from Grace's mother. The words hung in the air, thick and suffocating. Jason felt a knot tighten in his stomach, an instinctual response to the tumult brewing just beneath the surface. What does she say? Mark's brow furrowed deeper as he began reading aloud. She wants to meet. Today, she said. It's important. Lily, oblivious to the tension that crackled like electricity, bounced on her feet. Can we meet her? Can we see Grace? But Jason's heart sank further. He could see the weight of the moment bearing down on Mark, the guilt, the anxiety of potential repercussions. This wasn't just about family, it added layers of complexity that Jason wasn't sure they were ready for. Lily, honey, Jason said gently, leaning down to meet her excited eyes. It's not that simple. Why not? She's my cousin. Lily insisted, her joy unwavering. She's also part of a situation we don't know much about, Jason replied, feeling the urgency to protect her from the unknown. Mark's voice broke through, a blend of desperation and determination. This is my chance to show you that I'm serious, Jason. I can't keep running from my past. If I want a future for Grace, I have to face this. But what if it goes wrong? Jason shot back, his heart racing as he felt the familiar trepidation creeping in. As much as I want to protect you and Lily, I can't control everything, Mark said, his tone softening. I have to do right by Grace. I need you to trust me. A long silence filled the room. Jason's mind raced, weighing the risks and rewards. He thought of Lily, her innocence, and how he wanted to shield her from pain. Yet, within the storm of uncertainty, a small part of him felt the stirrings of hope. Perhaps this was the opportunity for reconciliation, for healing if they managed it carefully. What if we take it slow? Jason suggested cautiously. We can meet Grace, but we keep everything light and fun. Mark's gaze was steady, relief washing over his features. Yes. Just a simple visit, and we'll see how it goes. Please. I want to meet her. Lily's eyes sparkled with joy, longing to connect, to embrace a family that felt right. Jason could see her innocence shining through her excitement and knew he had to protect that. Okay, let us do it, Jason said, the words almost a vow. Let us meet her. As they stepped outside into the soft falling snow, Jason felt the weight of uncertainty shifting. Mark walked next to him, and the ground felt a little less unsteady. The world seemed to shift, as if the swirling snowflakes held the promise of something beautiful. But the thought of Grace's mother loomed like a shadow. What did she know? Was she ready to let them into her life? Would she resent Mark for the years of absence, or did she want the same thing he did, a family? As they trudged through the snow, anticipation mingled with apprehension. Suddenly, Jason caught a glimpse of a figure standing at the park entrance, a woman in heavy winter gear, holding a little girl's hand. His heart skipped a beat. Mark, Jason murmured, fear sharpening his voice. What if she doesn't want this? Mark stopped, taking a deep breath. We can only try, Jay. Just remember, whatever happens, we're in this together. The ground felt more solid beneath them, but as they approached the strangers, Jason couldn't shake the feeling that his life was about to change in ways he couldn't imagine. When they got closer, the woman turned, her expression unreadable. And beside her, a little girl with bright, curious eyes who looked so much like her father. Jason, let us do this, Mark whispered. But before Jason could reply, the little girl turned and smiled. And in that moment, Jason had no idea how sweet or painful the next chapter of this tangled web would become. What secrets would unfold? Would their lives become intertwined or fall apart in an instant? Jason took a step forward, his heart racing. The little girl's eyes sparkled with unguarded wonder, her innocence a sharp contrast to the tangled history that loomed behind them. It was a moment suspended in time, filled with the potential for joy, sorrow, or perhaps both. Mark, is that her? He whispered, fear tinged with a glimmer of hope. Yeah, Mark said, his voice steadying as he gazed at the image of his daughter, a blend of himself and the woman beside her. The woman, Grace's mother, looked apprehensive. Jason's eyes locked onto hers, trying to gauge intentions hidden beneath her still expression. Hi, Mark called out, his voice breaking the fragile silence. It's good to see you. "Hey, Mark," she replied, sounding cautious. She glanced down at Grace, who shifted shyly behind her mother's legs. "This is unexpected." "Yeah," Jason said, stepping in. "We weren't sure how you'd feel about this." She nodded, her eyes scanning each face before settling on Lily, whose eyes shone with excitement. "Who is this?" Grace's mother asked. "This is Lily." Mark beamed, crouching down to face her. "She is your cousin." Lily's face broke into a radiant smile. "Hi, Grace. You want to build a snowman?" Mark's expression softened, as if he saw a thread weaving among the family he thought he lost. Jason felt the knot in his chest loosen slightly, a flicker of acceptance sparking. Grace looked up at her mother, whose face remained tight with uncertainty. "Can I?" she asked, tugging at her mom's coat. The question hung in the air, heavy but hopeful. Jason felt the tension shift as Grace's mother weighed the options. "All right, just for a little while," she relented, her voice softening. "But remember, we need to talk afterward." "Thank you," Mark said, relief washing over him. And just like that, the ice began to melt. They stepped into the magical world of a snow-coated park, laughter echoing as Lily and Grace raced toward the small snow mound, anticipation bubbling within them. "Look how big I can make it," Lily squealed, shaping the snow into clumps. Jason caught a glimpse of Mark's eyes shining, reflecting a joy he hadn't seen in years. "Just like old times," Mark said quietly, glancing at Jason. "Yeah," Jason said, feeling a warmth that was foreign yet enticing. For a few fleeting moments, they were simply a family building memories. Snowballs flew, laughter rang out, and it felt almost normal, almost like the dreams of his childhood. Except as they stood there, the past remained. But now, in this shared experience, beneath the laughter, a sense of understanding began to grow. What once felt like fractures were slowly reshaping into connections. "Thank you for being open to this," Jason said, his voice steady as he caught Mark's gaze. "This isn't easy, I know," Mark replied with palpable sincerity. "Let us take it one step at a time, okay?" As the children played together, memories of Jason's former resentments began to fade like snowflakes melting on warm pavement. "Can we build a huge one next?" Lily's voice echoed like a bell, pulling everyone back to the joy of the moment. "Yes. Let us do it together." Grace's excitement surged forth, and soon all four were huddled together, hands intertwined, crafting a snowman that glistened with laughter. As they worked side by side, Jason found himself gradually loosening the grip of his doubt. Maybe healing wasn't an end, it was a journey. Yet the gentle reminder of Grace's mother standing at the edge, observing with a wary heart, anchored his thoughts. The road ahead would require trust on all fronts, but for the first time, Jason felt the spark of genuine hope flickering in his chest. He glanced briefly at her, and their eyes entwined. "I know we have a lot to discuss," Jason said earnestly, "but we're all here, trying to figure it out." She nodded, a flicker of understanding sparking in her gaze. "I appreciate that, Jason." As laughter filled the air and the snowman took form, a beacon of family and connection, Jason couldn't help but wonder if perhaps this was the start of something new, something that would bind them all together. "Hurry, we need to add a hat," Lily exclaimed, beaming up at her newfound cousin. And as moments trickled away like the melting snow, Jason felt the heavy burdens that once weighed him down start to lift, replaced with lightness, a glimpse of what family might truly mean. Christmas had always been about hope, about rebirth. Perhaps this year, amidst the chaos, they could create a new legacy together. The light of the holiday seemed strangely brighter now, illuminating new paths ahead, uncertain yet undeniably inviting at the same time. In that moment, he understood, redemption was true family woven through stories, built with trust, layered in laughter. After all the heaviness, they were finally beginning to lighten. Now it's your turn to join this journey of transformation. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support and leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Your support means everything. Let us keep building this community together.